Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Three Songs Podcast. This is your host, BEAH. RoomRock's Three Songs Podcast. For those of you that don't know, RoomRock's Three Songs Podcast is where we interview emerging artists, singers, songwriters about their three original songs, and we kind of see where the story takes us. And it really takes us in some crazy places. Not crazy places, but unusually unexpected places every single time. And today is no exception. It was really, really nice talking with Rob from Featherstone Massacre, who's our promised 8th episode today. He lands pretty squarely in metal, I guess. Really nice talking to him. I hope you enjoy the show. I have to write this stuff down because I want to have like a nice intro, but I just kind of Anyway, talk after the show. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
It doesn't just end at one kind of point. It kind of just keeps going, and then it's strange. Sorted out to a certain extent, or you think you kind of understand things, and then your perspective on things changes, right? It's just interesting being a part of it. I think being alive, and you need to try and do. So you create something that I would want to hear, and is not a lowest common denominator kind of thing, it's something a bit different, or something something that kind of speaks to me. I'm finding that a little bit, at the moment, a little bit difficult. We had a neighbor that lived with us who died very suddenly. He got sepsis, went from talking to him, you know what I mean, fixing the fence, doing that kind of, those kind of neighborly kind of things. It felt like one day, to finding out that he died. It was very sudden, and it's one of those things where it makes you kind of think, it sounds really trite, but it does make you sort of go, okay, well, if I want to do these things, I should do something, I should make the effort. And then, you end up erasing your tracks, or you take the music and you end up changing the sample rate, and you made all those kind of mistakes and everything. But my dad, he sadly died this year, and he got ill. He'd been fine, he was quite a young guy. But yeah, he died of a really aggressive kind of cancer. So it's been really handy to and kind of work on stuff.
That's good, because we can talk about one of the songs. What was the lyric? It was the RWF. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that. Can we talk about that song first? Is that okay?
Yeah.
That was one of those we had this wonderful layered vocal tracks, right?
Yeah, there is quite a bit on that. So, and then some that for some reason when it was finally mixed kind of drop out. So there's a little middle 8 bit where there is actually some words, but you can't hear it. Yeah. So I don't know what went on there. That was, rather than just then there's just another big screen. But there's meant to be something that kind of bridges that bit. But yeah, it disappeared. I got an 8-string Harley Benton. You're in Germany, Harley Benton, of course, right? Tommen, and then was like, okay, right, well, I'm definitely gonna. This is my Deftones kind of moment now. I've got the 8-string.
Can you explain what an 8-string is? Like,
guitar?
What is it?
It's an 8-string guitar. Yeah. So a lot of your kind of extended range kind of instruments, there are things like that. I mean, it's become more and more kind of common, right, for guitarists to use extended range guitars and playing lower and lower tunings. And for whatever reason, I kind of thought as soon as I, had that lower kind of range, that I would start writing these super kind of heavy kind of, is heavy, but it turned into something more. I don't know what you would sort of say. It's not quite. It's definitely not that. And it was around the time of, I think there was some sort of meme or something. People were asking people about how often they thought about the Roman Empire. It was sort of a bit of a joke on, I think it had been on social media. And I was looking for something to write about with everything that had happened with my dad. Like, I didn't really want to write about that. So I wanted to write about something. I didn't really have anything else. So that's why that was something. And I went, oh, okay, then that's something that I can kind of feed into. And then I thought, oh, I'll put some jokes in. So I put in a joke about, well, not really a joke, but like about Scipio, and thought, oh, I'll hide some Roman, for whatever reason, some Roman characters in Miss doing the words kind of thing. But it was an exercise in, I guess, probably just trying to do something a bit more, I don't know, a bit fun, really. I was talking to my mum about it because I've been pretty lucky, I think. I've not really had to kind of have many kind of big grown up kind of feelings about things because I've really relatively I've been kind of lucky and not a lot out of the normal stuff that happens to people had kind of happened to me. So this was the first kind of thing where something felt kind of, it was quite big and it wasn't really something you can really do a lot about. And there was hope, and then there was no hope. It was hard. Like we were saying earlier on, sometimes like talking and tackling things like totally directly about things that are going on. I don't know, maybe it's not the most healthy or helpful for me. So It's almost like approaching it from a different kind of angle. It gave me time and to do something different, and it was really nice. It's nice when I think about that time that you get to spend kind of creating something. It's kind of, I guess, like self-care. I called that one shot. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shot.
There's a parable in the Bible, it's interesting, where I think Jesus goes before getting on a boat, and I think he tells a guy basically who is sat with his dad who's died, and he has the bones there, which I think that maybe they used to in the Judaism. I think that they would not bury them for a year or something along those lines, and tells him basically to kind of to leave them, let the dead kind of sort it out, and to follow him and everything. And I remember thinking about that all at this sort of time, that everything was kind of coming together with with my dad and everything. And I remember sort of thinking, it's quite an extraordinary thing to be sat with your kind of grief and then somebody tell me just to leave it and walk away from it. And I used to think, I mean, how did that guy feel? I mean, he might have turned the air blue kind of thing, you know what I mean? Before it just cuts this next thing where he's on the boat, where the guy's left, you know what I mean? I always sort of thought, oh, it's really interesting. It really does make you kind of think of if there was something that had come down and was sort of didn't really know what it was like to be a person in a way. There are moments in that where you read that and you kind of go, yeah, it does. It kind of just come across like he doesn't really know what people are. So it's it's strange. But I thought, well, that would be an interesting thing to write about. And that was I liked the riff that I'd come up with for that. I like the sound of that.
To build your case. Once there was loss, and once there was pain, and once there was us, and now it's just me.
I mean, these are things that I never would have experienced a year ago because I wasn't wasn't writing stuff. So I don't know what kind of happened. I just kept working on this one guitar riff, I think, for I don't know, after this guy died. It must have been for weeks and weeks. And oh, do you know what it was actually? I remember now. Yeah, I was trying to learn a Dimebag Darrell solo. You remember Pantera? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was playing that night after night, trying to learn. It was something off. It might have been the goddamn electric solo, maybe. Well, anyway, got to the point when I was just thinking, I mean, I'm never going to be able to do that. I was like, play, trying to chunk it down to the smallest kind of, and I was like, never going to be able to play this. This is impossible. I can play these instruments. I'm going to really, really, really try and actually write something and finish it. That on top of that kind of led to that, and then I had a way of working. Like I say, just saying, okay, I've got an idea. If okay, keep slamming stuff together, and it means I think sometimes it's you want to carve out a bit of space that's just kind of for you kind of thing, right? And I think that's what that kind of gave me the chance to do, and I thought it was I just thought it was the most interesting thing I'd thought of to write about in a way, and I thought I was pleased with myself because I thought, oh, I managed to find another way of kind of exploring these things for me without having to kind of write something really directly. That I managed to kind of jam something that seemed relatively coherent in it, or it did to me anyway. I mean, I suppose you don't know really what people think of when they listen to it, but hopefully hopefully that you can bob your head to it kind of.
Once there was loss, and once there was pain, and once there was us, and now it's just me.
Then the last song we'll do, your third song is, what is it? I wrote
Oh
it.
yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah. It was consciousness. So, but yeah. But yeah, so that was it was winter time. It was just, I think it's maybe lyrically is again, there was an idea in it that was better, which is that the idea of kind of like, because my dad he was a physicist. He used to tell me a lot about these kind of, these kind of interesting things with physics and the interesting way that, small subatomic particles kind of interact almost on the in the we've got the kind of bigger world that we kind of interact with, and I like that, all the idea of particles being becoming, what is it that they call it, kind of glued together. Oh, he'd hate me for not remembering what it is, but they become kind of intertwined, or a couple of parts, you can even get three of them kind of intertwined, they get kind of glued together. And I like the idea of having a piece of music that kind of spanned like this big, this was my initial idea. It would span the beginning and the end of the album almost, and have the kind of track at the beginning and the end. Those were the two particles, and you would have kind of the journey of it in the middle. It's not the best kind of produced kind of track, but it lyrically, it kind of, I thought, was interesting because of that. And I was like, oh, that's a real idea. That's a kind of artistic idea, not just a kind of boy meets girl, girl breaks boy's heart. it felt like it was something artistic, and it said some nice things about it, I think, and I think maybe thought that it was interesting. Just was never really kind of recorded in a way that I think kind of, I was still very new to what I was doing, so I don't really want to go back and, you know what I mean, and do it. I kind of would like to move on to say, okay, well, those were done at the level they were done at. And if I ever revisit it, I might revisit the kind of idea I had, the kind of artistic-y kind of idea. Things being bookmarked at the beginning and the end, and this kind of journey of this kind of particle almost. But I guess a lot of the things, aren't they? They're just ideas to kind of hold together a bit of music. To give it a reason for its kind of reason for existing.
That was it. Episode 8 is in the bag. I want to thank Rob from Featherstone Massacre for sharing his story. Really nice story, touching story. And if you like what you're listening to and what you're hearing, come on down to a YouTube channel, RoomRock, one word, YouTube channel. We have the video version of this, actually. I'm trying to start to do the video versions. I don't know how they're going to work out. But like and subscribe to our shows so we can start bringing you more of this stuff. I guess that's the way it works, right? So check us over at RoomRock. All the artists we have over there. We have some new shows coming. We got a show coming from DIOPTER, who's a new partner on the show, and it's going to be Sonic Periphery. It's a great show. He's really natural with this stuff. So come subscribe, support us. Tune in next week. I'm almost afraid to say that. Tune in next week for episode 9, but we have Day Thomas. He's from Austria. He's a piano player. He's really a really good singer, songwriter. Really emotional stuff. He has some songs already on our channel. I'm looking forward to his conversation and, his podcast. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Really. Share the love. It's your host, BEAH. Till next time.